Hello, everybody. We're here to record our Versus episode. This episode is Branton's Choice, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, I actually found my record. This is my...
That's his copy of this record. You start it, man.
What do you want to say?
You say what you want to say.
It's a good album.
When was it released?
87.
What'd you think about it?
It's the best one.
Are we going to play that game tonight?
What game?
Short answers.
No, I mean... I wore 2 copies out on cassette when I first got it. I did.
Well, maybe this episode won't be as long as I anticipated it.
You know, you wore the words off, so then you could tell which side was which.
What's your favorite song off this record?
Well, I've said this before, but I like the album as a whole. But if I had to pick one, I'd have to pick just one.
Yes, one.
Well, it's going to be a tie between probably Rocket Queen and Night Train. And I mean, I would have said Welcome to the Jungle, except I've heard that one probably more than any of the other ones, aside from Sweet Child O' Mine. Paradise City.
What did you think when you first heard this? The first time you bought it, what was your impression of this band?
Well, before I heard it, I was reading in all the magazines about Guns N' Roses. They're more wild than Motley Crue, and they're the wildest band you've ever seen, and they're always in trouble, and this and that. And they didn't have a record out then. So when the record first came out, or the cassette is what I got. When I knew it was out, I had to get it because I wanted to hear what it sounded like, based on what I'd heard about them having a bad reputation, and everything. So I liked it instantly. Like I said, I wore 2 copies out on cassette before I got it on CD. I used to have the original copy of this on vinyl, but I gave it to someone. This is the reissue. 180 gram, I guess. Back to black.
My issue of this record I bought when I was a teenager. I had this cassette as well, and I played it until the cassette actually stretched so much it broke. I love this record. I really can't say enough good things about it. Every single thing about this record is amazing. I was into Motley Crue when I heard of Guns N' Roses. As a matter of fact, I hadn't even heard of Guns N' Roses until I seen Motley Crue on tour, and they were the opening act for that tour, and I've got stories about that concert. As soon as I seen Axl on stage, I was like, oh my god, who is that? And I have to get that cassette tape. I have to have it. So I immediately bought it. And I wore it out, know every lyric to every song like the back of my hand. So yeah, I have to say this is my very favorite Guns N' Roses album. mind you, their other things are very, very, very good, but this is my absolute 100% favorite. Nothing could get better than this when it comes to Guns N' Roses, in my opinion. As far as a favorite song goes, I love every single one of the songs on there, but I would probably have to say My Michelle or
November Rain.
November Rain's not on this one. November Rain is one of my favorite songs of theirs, but it's not on this album. My Michelle or
You Could Be Mine. That's not on there.
I know it's not on there either.
I don't have a feeling.
That's not on there either. He's testing me. Probably My Michelle's my favorite. Even though I love all the songs on this, I mean, they're all equal to me.
Did your arm just crack?
Yes, it did. I'm falling apart. So, my first impression of this band, of course, my first impression was at a concert, live, which is completely different than listening to it on a cassette tape. I was flabbergasted. I didn't know who the band was. I didn't know anything about them. I just knew they were raunchy and they were gritty and dirty, and their music was freaking the same, and I loved it, every single bit of it, and I still do. So,
Well, the first time I seen them, other than, well, I seen Welcome to the Jungle was the first time I'd seen them on Headbangers Ball, that music video, and that was like the music video that I wanted to see. And of course, they played it constantly. And then MTV had a concert on, it was from New York at the Ritz, and I guess that was '88. It was heavily edited because of the language, I guess, and probably for time constraints. But I'd taped that on a VHS tape and watched it all the time, and there's a part where during Paradise City, which I think is like the third from the last song they do, Axl jumps into the crowd, and the security guards are scrambling to try to get him out, and they're pulling him, and the crowd's pulling him, and they're ripping his shirt off, and they're ripping his jewelry off, and he gets up on, they're pulling his hair and stuff, and he gets up on stage, and he just, like he'd never missed a beat, just keeps right going. The song's still playing, and Slash is on his back playing the solo, and it's just like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. That was like, there's no band that's that cool, you know. So Axl was always, I mean, he just stood out as a frontman compared to everyone else, because he just didn't care what he did. And then, you watch footage from every tour after that, pretty much he gets into it, jumps in the crowd, or he's telling people he doesn't like the fans to get beat up by the security a lot, and it seemed like that would always happen. But then there's that infamous concert, that tour they did with Metallica, where that show got canceled because James Hetfield from Metallica burned his arm, got third-degree burns from pyrotechnics, and then Guns N' Roses, because the Axl was 2 hours late. And, I've heard people say they could have came on and saved that show, but they didn't. So they come on 2 hours late, and they did 4 songs, and Axl couldn't hear himself because the mic or the feedback or something. So he slammed the mic down and said, "We're not going to finish," or whatever he said. So then there was a riot. I want to say that was in St. Louis. I'm not sure. But anyway, they tore that whole place down. The crowd just flipped cars over and busted windows out.
I think as Axl got more famous, his ego got bigger, and therefore he acted like a spoiled brat. He wanted his way, and that's what he was going to get it one way or another. And, it's all good. So, I've read Duff McKagan's book that actually explains how they came up with these songs and who wrote them and who got credit for them and meanings behind them, and it's very, very interesting. Please pick up his book.
Which one is it?
If you,
Is it It's So Easy?
I think yes, it's called It's So Easy, and it's very interesting, and I have a lot of respect for him and all that he's been through. So, yeah, great album.
10 spins.
He's given it 10 spins. I give it 10 plus spins. I would have to say it's one of those go-to albums that once you hear it, you always go back to it no matter what. Eventually, you always go back to it. How many spins do you give it, Phantom? So, next time on Versus, we're going to be doing... Yeah. Love. This is called Forever Changes. Let me take it out of the wrap so you can see.
I'm sure people's familiar with that record.
So that's what we'll be doing next time on Versus.
Do I have that?
I do not think you do.
I thought I had maybe an original that I found.
Possibly. I don't know.
I don't know.
I discovered this band on YouTube. He already knew about this band, but we'll get into that next time. Anyway, thanks for watching and subscribing. Please leave your comments below. Always happy to answer your comments and chat it up with you guys. Please check out Brenton's channel and his podcast. He's got a KISS podcast with Eli. And then I have another channel, which now that it's getting warmer, I should start putting more things on that channel. It's called Graveyard Shift. So if you like to walk through graveyards or look at tombstones or that kind of thing, that's what that channel's all about. I think that's it. See you guys next time. Bye now.